2017, Haseeb did a video which was about 2.5 hours long on building a blockchain in Ruby. And I thought it was a very entertaining video and it had a lot of great information, and it showed you how you can build out a mini cryptocurrency within Ruby. However, one thing that I didn't like about it is that it followed the same thing that blockchain is mainly used for, and that's with the cryptocurrency. And you most likely have heard of blockchain from the Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is basically a cryptocurrency that has several main components. One, it is decentralized, so there is no central acting authority over the Bitcoin. It can be generated or mined through proof of work. It has a blockchain, which is used to verify transactions and make sure that things aren't being tampered with. And there's also several other components. But in this episode, I want to look at the actual blockchain and a different example outside of the cryptocurrency world where it can be used. So in this episode, we're going to create a car history where we can add in different maintenance items, and then we can see if the records are valid. And a valid record will be indicated by the block hash being recalculated with the nonce, and the nonce means that it's a one-time use value. So in order to generate this hash, we had to iterate over something 282 times, or this is considered the proof of work, to verify that this hash value was based on the data content of our vendor, mileage, and content, as well as the block hash of the previous value. And since each record is reliant on the previous record's block hash, in order to calculate the new block hash, that is where we get our blockchain from. So if we add another maintenance record, I'll just put AA3, you can see that we generate our record and we get a valid block. However, if we go and modify one of these, let's say if you want to try to roll back the odometer, we update it, you see that now we get a false value. So when you go to calculate this block hash, it sees that it gets a different value because it should return the same. And since it did not get the same hash calculation, we know that this is not a valid block and the clean record is now false. So this episode is not going to be about the decentralization of the blockchain. Instead, we are creating an entity, and within this entity, we're storing all the data, and it's not going to be distributed like a normal cryptocurrency would. And you may think that just having a modified column to where you can check maybe if the created and modified columns are not the same is good enough for determining if a record was tampered with. That's not necessarily true, because if we go through and delete one of these rows, so we'll delete this row where we have the false data, you'll now see that the next one is false because it's trying to calculate off of the previous hash of the previous record, and you'll see that its valid block is set to false. Even though we did not modify this data, we simply just removed one of the datas in there. So we're still building a level of trust greater than just having a true or false column within our database or comparing off of the created at and the updated at columns. And by no means is this a complete example or a fully functional car history tracker, because there's a lot more features as well as data that you would want to track along with this. However, this just gives you the general proof of concept of using a blockchain within a Rails application. To watch this full episode and more videos, visit driftinruby.com and subscribe to the Pro membership.